Style and substances do play a part in that, but I think at our core, at the genetic level, we are naturally ambitious. So that's just what I rode for the rest of my life. I wanted to become validated, and we had an episode on validation, for what I knew, because I got so much of that as a kid. But then as I grew, I didn't think I needed to study for anything, and then ADD really started to kick in, and I couldn't focus, and I lost interest very easily. And all that validation I was getting as a kid was slowly going away. And so I'm over here, I'm like, no, really, I'm still smart. Please recognize me for this. And so as I got older and started getting into the workplace, I wanted my job to include that validation. And so I was ambition was not a problem, but I was always in these jobs, i.e. waiting tables, to where I would look around and say, I am so much better than this. I am destined for so much better things. When truth be told, most people, barring something very unlucky or very unfortunate, are exactly where they should be in life. And at that particular restaurant that I was at the time where I was thinking that particular thing, is exactly where I was supposed to be. And I didn't realize that. I always thought I was capable of so much more, even though I really wasn't doing a whole lot about it. So I decided, I really started to like wine and spirits, and and how they were made, what made one distinct from another. And so I had that passion, and I was like, well, yeah, let's get really good at this. And so I learned a lot, and I became very smart at those things. I'm like, all right, well, now it's time to turn it into something. So that was my ambition in my mid-20s early on, was to be a sommelier at a big restaurant. And so that is what took me to Las Vegas. Quickly found that was not the route I should be taking. And just started waiting tables and did that as I built my passions elsewhere. But ambition for me, never really a problem. Execution was at times, and I think we probably need to touch on that, because I think anybody who listens to this is plenty ambitious. It's really just the execution that they have an issue with. But I mean, I always had a bigger plan, because I always felt like I was destined for bigger and better things because of all of the programming I got early on as a kid, with everybody walking up to me and telling me how smart I was. And so from start to finish, for me, I've always been crazy ambitious. I still am. I still want to do more, and that just keeps me motivated. I think it's a wonderful thing. I don't see what the problem is, but I have a feeling, Rob, we're going to run into those problems at some point in this episode, aren't we?
Well, we're going to discuss them, but I'm going to talk about real world situations in my life and other traders' lives where I really want to give some insight into how this can be very detrimental. When I got into trading in my early 20s, I was on fire. I loved it, and I was so into it. I had so much ambition. And, in my early 20s, I wanted to be the next Bill Gates. I'm going to talk about Bill Gates later, when I found out something else. But I just